All right, welcome back to the channel, everyone, and thank you for tuning in to another video here on the channel. I am into a long entry going long on the NASDAQ 100 futures right now. My aim is going to be the top up here where it just made this prior high at for the day session, okay? And just looking at the structure of the market, from last Thursday to Friday, that's the thing, is trying to figure out what is it trying to accomplish. And I noticed that we're still bullish here at a Friday session. So primarily this is just a pullback, okay? And I'm looking to take it higher to definitely to take out today's session. But we'll start stepping back into this top area here. Well, this is around Friday's high with this resistance set, okay? So I'm looking to just following price action on the pullback here, looking at the higher time frame, because once I'm into a trade off my lower time frame, I'm looking at the higher time frame to see possibly where the market could go to, and seeing that it's what price action did on the way back down on the pullback here, it definitely looks like it can go up here and run the highs, okay? So at least the highs for today. So that's what I'm looking at right now, and hopefully it does that. So I'm just going to stay in this trade here, and we'll see what happens. Looking at my lower time frame, I got in. This was a supply zone off the lower time frame. Okay, pulled back. There was an imbalance on the higher time frame right here. Rejected that, but there was an imbalance on the. There was a demand area off of the lower time frame, if that makes sense. So I'm waiting for the pullback to that. That's what that red line signifies there. So hopefully we can take this thing back up to the upside. I know that it can pull back. I got into the trade too late, but I'm looking for it to run some higher areas here. It can bounce here and pull back. And if it pulls back and rejects any area below here, it's more likely going to push higher. So I got into the trade too late. We'll see what happens on the pullback here. Hopefully it keeps continue pushing up here. And I might take out if it starts to show me any signs of weakness, you know what I mean? So look at it right now. Look at what it's doing. See, it's already pulled back 2 candles there. And I probably should have got out, took my 11, 12 points there and got out. So if it can't, continue pushing higher here, then I'm definitely going to go ahead and get out the trade. Come on, see this high volume area here? It's going to struggle in areas like that. So, and I may take a contract out. We'll see. Okay, we're at 15 points now. All right, I'm going to take one contract out. And what I'll do is, I think I'm going to put a stop in place, and I'll put it back below this area right here. I don't want to see it. It can run this area. I know it can. To kind of come back and fill some of these imbalances. So what I might do is just I might close out at 15 points and go ahead and take my profit here, because it's already pulled back 2 candles. All right, I'm closing out right there. All right, so anyways, a little successful trade. I think it was like 15, a little bit over 15 points on the first contract, and then 13 and a quarter, 13 and a half on the second contract. So I'm looking for it to run the high for today. All right, look at it. Look at it. See, it's going up there. So I said this in a prior video. I'm always looking at my higher time frame to see, once I get into the trade on my lower time frame, where I can take the trade back up to. Okay, and the higher time frame definitely showed me that it can come up here and test today's high. All right, so let's see what happens. As of right now, I am not looking to get back into that trade, so I'm going to hold off right now. But this is just basically, trading supply and demand, following and understanding market structure. That's the key to it. To me, if you do not understand market structure, please do not attempt to start trading, because you are going to take some losses. And I'm only saying that because I know from prior experience, guys. Listen to what I'm saying. Prior experience, I am one. When I first started trading 12 plus years ago, I did not understand market structure. I didn't even know what market structure was, to be honest with you. And I was just taking pullback trades, and I was probably just trading support and resistance and didn't even know it until I started really understand. Look at it pushing higher. More so about supply and demand, where when the move started, the aggressive buying right here. Okay. That was a good area, a good swing area or zone to take this a trade back up to, going back up. Okay, look at it. See, I was right 100%. Had I stayed in that trade, I probably would have picked up another I think I got out around this area here. This is about 15 points right here, 70. I would have picked up another 10 points right there. So I'd have been up 25 points on that trade right there, okay? All right, so we're running today's high. We just made a new high. I think we're actually breaking the high from, no, not quite yet. Okay, so yeah, this is Friday's high. We just took it out, okay? So I figured we would do that. I mean, we have not broken and turned, to become bearish, okay? In Friday's session, yeah, we pulled back, okay? We broke some areas to the downside, breaking slight areas of structure to the downside or minor structure. But we didn't take out the session, lows pretty much, okay, from Friday and start, breaking major areas of structure. We kind of pulled back, broke some minor areas of structure here, didn't take out the sessional lows, turn back around. What do? We start climbing back to the upside, taking out, you see these areas of structure right here where the market was making lower lows and lower highs. That's minor areas of structure in which the market turned back around and started pushing back to the upside, okay? So then it came back, just broke a major area of structure, which is Friday's high, okay? So we broke a major area of structure. So now there is a demand zone resting right here off the higher time frame, okay? Can you see that right there where that red line is, right there at 860 pretty much, okay? So what could happen? The market could come down there and test that area. Simple as that. All right. So let's see what takes place. Yeah, let's see what takes place. All right, we're still pushing higher for sure. All right. So what we have up here was a round number at 900, in which the market just rejected from. So that can be, kind of considered as a major area of resistance in a sense. That round numbers and half numbers can be traded. You just have to treat them just like any other level in a sense. You see the market bounce from it, it pulled back. Is it going to break higher? We'll see. But market's just moving sideways right now. You can see here on the higher time frame, my 60 range chart, we hit that 900 area. We broke the session high from Friday, but just kind of ranging right now, moving sideways. You can see it on the lower time frame chart. So I'm not going to, kind of stand down and not trade in this area right here. For one, we're at a major high volume area, so we're kind of just accumulating right here. And, I want to see some further breaks to the upside or maybe to the downside. It just depends. But right now we're bullish. Definitely look at the higher time frame. You can see it. It broke yesterday's high. And yesterday's Friday's high, and Friday's high broke Thursday's high. So we're bullish, guys. I mean, we had a high Thursday, a low, it pulled back. It broke lower, so you can look for shorts. Broke higher, going into Friday's session, broke, and took out the high from Thursday, pulled back. We're still bullish. We didn't break any major areas. We kind of just, broke through some minor areas and then started pushing higher. So we've been bullish since Friday, okay? And the tide kind of started changing right at the close towards the close on Thursday. All right, so pulling back to the upside. So this is probably just a deep retracement to push higher to break major areas of structure above. So right now we're not doing much. I don't know what the market's going to do this week. I mean, this could be a slow week again because we're moving into the holidays. And I need to look at the calendar because I want to see what days are actually, the market's actually closed. And I probably, this depends. I probably take, maybe trade a few days this week. I'm probably not going to trade the whole week. Next week into the holidays, I probably won't do much trading. I'll look at the market just to kind of see what it's doing. But things really won't start ramping back up, volume stepping back into the market until, people start getting situated back from the holidays. And that's when we get back on course, okay? But you can see the market today. What is it doing? It's not doing much of anything. I haven't even looked at the ES today. I know it's probably not doing much. I mean, it hasn't done much of anything over the last few days. I mean, we made this the 13th, which is last Wednesday, I believe. A high here, small pullback, broke higher, and it's been kind of stagnant, moving sideways here. Looks like we're trying to break above this little high right here. So this could break above, and then we could look for maybe a pullback to go long. It'd be a demand setup, but I'm not even interested in taking any opportunities or trades from the ES and just looking what it's doing. I mean, it's not appealing to me, I would say. Okay, so no interest there for me. But anyways, back over looking at the NASDAQ. I'm just going to stand down as of right now. But I would love to see the market pull back to this key area right here around 860. Beautiful demand area on the higher time frame, my 60 range chart, and then look for a trade on the lower time frame. Okay, so let's go over to the lower time frame. This is the area right here. There's a area right here. This demand zone right here on the lower time frame. Almost tapped into it, so we'll see. We can wait for the market to get back to that zone and look for the rejection. But we haven't really, if the market has been making higher highs and higher lows, doing this where it broke this high here from Friday, we got the push to the upside, aggressive buying right here, so that's demand, right? All right, let's go ahead and draw that box out right here. All right, so we tap into it, right? But look at the market price action, okay? Higher lows, higher lows, and then it breaks structure right here to the upside, major area structure. And then we pushed up, made a high here, pulled back, and we didn't continuously making higher highs and higher lows. If it had done that, making higher highs and higher lows several times, and it took, it kept moving away from this demand zone, and it took a period of time for it to come back, then I would sit back and wait for it once it tapped into that higher time frame demand zone. Once it did that, I'll move down to my lower time frame and look for a demand setup, basically meaning a break of structure on the lower time frame, and then a pull back to that demand area on the lower time frame. But we really haven't pulled too far away. We haven't really broken. It's kind of more so like a immediate pullback in a sense, because the market's went up here to 900, then rejecting, wicking out, and then it may come back down here. So this is what I call more like an immediate pullback to this zone right here, to where it didn't, kept doing this right here. Let me show you. This is what I'm talking about. If it started, like it made this high here, right? It came back, and then if it started doing something like this right here, where it kept just making higher highs and higher lows, and then it took it a while to come back to this zone right here. Then once it got back to this zone, tap into it to the higher time frame, then I will look down on my lower time frame and look for that breaker structure and that demand setup, right? And that's the strategy in which I talk about breaking things down. But this right here, because we haven't pulled or strayed too far away from this zone here, you could actually just look down. You could probably move down to you can move down to your lower time frame, like this right here. This is a small area of demand on the lower time frame, which is in confluence and within the same area as the higher time frame. So you can look for possible means of rejection right there. But like I always say, you got to pay attention to price action when it taps back into that zone. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the higher time frame, and I'm just going to, I got it blue right now because I make a push right through it, So that's the zone. We're on the 12 range, the lower time frame, and this is the zone, the demand zone from the higher time frame. So let's see what happens when it taps back into it if we get there, right? So, and I would expect something to come out of this, hopefully. If not, where could it go to from there? It can start breaking and taking out structure, minor areas of structure back to the downside within this bigger swing here, okay? Again, this was the high from Friday, not the low from Friday, but a high from Friday, pull back, made a low to make a new high in today's session. All this in between right here is minor structure until we start breaking lower, okay? So, we just see what happens, okay? Let's see. And even if it starts taking out structure to the downside, still, my bias is still going to be to the upside, because it's going to have to take out and start breaking through major areas of structure below, meaning breaking through minor areas of structure. Now, if it starts taking out, like I said, sessional lows, like it breaks through the sessional low today, then I'm going to be very, very mindful and say, okay, now we got opportunities where we can really start looking for shorts. My bias is going to be short, and looking for supply setups, okay, to the downside. Okay, so if it does that. All right. But right now, I'm just bullish because we're still making higher highs and higher lows, even on the higher time frame. All right, we're hitting that demand zone that I talked about, rejected at 900 area, pull back to this area of demand. You could have taken that trade up there if you knew what you were doing. And yeah, look where we're at now. So trying to see what it's going to do. It did reject this area right here. So this is the demand zone off of the lower time frame too. I'm looking to see, okay, it's already hitting that area. Okay, so be careful here. Yeah, looking to see what it's going to do here. Are we going to push higher? Looking at the higher time frame. Okay, so be careful here. So I'm looking to see what it's going to do here. I don't know if it's going to reject. Trying to see here. What is it actually going to do in this area here? It could push higher. It looks like it's attempting to try to push higher. Let me see. Back up, let me see. 75, where we at now? Oh, shoot. All right, I'm looking for a pullback here. Maybe if it pulls back, it's not going to pull back on me. I might have missed this trade. The trade was right here when it came back right here. So if I get a pullback, I'll go long, but I think it's going to keep running up. It's going to test this. Yep, it's going to test this area right here at 75. And there it goes. All right, so the trade set up. This was the demand zone right here on the lower time frame. I showed it to you on the higher time frame. I missed it. Okay, so demand on the higher time frame pulls back to it. Okay, we got demand on the lower time frame. When it rejected the area right here, okay, and pushed up, it feels some imbalances right here, back up to the upside. All right, and on the pullbacks, it's where you should have went long. Okay, but now it's testing. See what I'm saying? 75 area. That's that imbalance right here on the higher time frame. Okay, so be careful because it can definitely reject that area there. Let's see. But it may run up here and test this area up here at 890. Okay, and maybe even try to break the high, make a new high for today. So let's see. Let's see what it does. It's going to give us a pullback. So it came down again, tap that area of demand on the higher time frame, and now we got a break of structure on the lower time frame. It may come back down and test this area here. This is demand. An area which you could look for maybe a pullback to take the trade back to the upside, but I don't know what it's going to do here. We're going to wait it out and see. I missed it right here when it tapped into this demand area on the lower time frame. Pull back, look to go long. So what you could have done here, okay, we see the 60-yard demand, right? Okay, and then it pulls back to it. All right, taps in. So what we want to do is look down to our lower time frame. As I was just talking about before, this is kind of an immediate pullback in a sense. We didn't keep breaking structure to the upside on the higher time frame. You know, it bullish run, lots of aggressive buying, comes right back to the area of demand, higher time frame. So this is the lower time frame. That green box there is that higher time frame 60R zone. So then we just want to find an area because we're kind of immediately pulling back to it. You know, to the zone, which was on a higher time frame, and we can look to take a trade where we get confluence or confirmation on both the higher time frame and lower time frame. So on the lower time frame, this would have been the demand zone right here. All right, you see that? All right, okay. So let's see here. Let me mark this. I'm just going to mark this in like a magenta color. All right, so we see that. All right, so the demand box in the purplish, reddish looking color, magenta, that is the 12R demand zone. When it taps into both the higher time frame, 60R, and the 12R demand zones, you just got to look for the rejection, okay? But you got to pay attention to price action, and you got to look at the higher time frame when the market was coming back to that zone, all right? And where you can take it back up to, all right? This was an area of supply coming to the downside right here, aggressive selling. So if we got a supply zone, then I want to take it back up to the supply zone, okay? Now, that zone right here, back up to the supply zone in this area up here, and then you have an imbalance where you could possibly hold it and run it back up to as well. So you always, I've talked about this in many videos, guys. You guys have got to start seeing this stuff. Those that are, been following the channel heavily. When we tap into a demand zone like this right here, look to see if there's a supply area on the higher time frame in which you may be able to take the trade back up to, okay? So anyways, the rejection took place at both the 60R and the 12R demand zone, okay? Rejects right here, pushes up, okay? And then what I do is I like to see it and I wait for a pullback. Once it pushed up here, it started filling in imbalances within this small little area of supply right here. We pushed to the downside right here, this area of structure right here. Made a low, lower high, broke lower, right? Okay, pushed up. This is a rejection right here. It pushed up, it came back, okay? Once it broke pretty much above, above this area at 866, you can go long. And then once you go long, you can look for the market to run back up to, maybe this area of supply up here, okay? All right, it pushed down, pull back, supply, aggressive selling. Take it back up to the area of supply. There's an imbalance there as well. Maybe hold it to that area there. Now it's probably going to kind of bounce or react at that area of supply at 83 and a half, okay? So, which was, where we at? Right here. See how it pulled back right there when it got there? It pulled back and then it continued pushing higher because it was going up there testing just as well as that area of imbalance right there. So again, taps into both means of confirmation off the lower time frame, off the higher time frame and lower time frame demand. Look for a setup to go long, okay? You get the reaction or rejection, all right, right here. Comes down, taps into it, pushes up, rejects it. Pushes up, comes back, rejects it again. If you get the break above, you can go long. Again, because this is going to the higher time frame, aggressive buying. It came back to this area, okay? It didn't started to take out and start making higher highs, higher lows. If it kept doing that and took it a while to come back to the zone, then that's primarily where I would be a little bit more cautious, look for a setup to where the strategy kind of comes into play where we talk about looking down once it taps into the higher time frame zone, then looking to the lower time frame to look for a demand setup. In this case here, there was already a demand setup on the lower time frame. It was right here because this was an immediate pullback pretty much after that big push to the upside on the higher time frame. It comes back, okay? It didn't go up, push back, and keep breaking higher highs and higher lows. Like I said, this was a immediate pullback. We got confirmation off of both charts. The higher time frame, lower time frame, demand areas right here. Look for the rejection, okay? And when I saw this, I'm not going to immediately just take the trade, all right? I want to see for it, see if it's going to reject. It taps into both the 60R and 12R demand zones, okay? When it does that, it then pushes higher. It comes back, and then I'm going to wait to see if it's going to, get the break in the close of a candle in opposite direction, and then you can go long right here at 865 and a quarter. All right, so that's what I did when I took that trade. Now, can it come back to this area right here? There is a demand zone resting right here on the lower time frame at 862 and a half. Yes, it definitely can, and we'll mark that area, which would be right here. This is a demand zone. This is the high volume area. You can look to take the trade below the high volume area if it comes back to it. But we got to be close. Pay attention to price action as it's coming back down to this area. That's the key to it. You got to, because you got to understand when it gets back there, how much room do you have to trade from? We're looking at the lower time from the 12 ranges. They're going to be, paying attention to price action. Where can we take it back up to? So this trade here that I took is more of an aggressive style entry to where, I'm not being more conservative to where I'm waiting for the demand setup to unfold on the lower time frame. I'm taking the confluence on two charts. Remember, I talk about multi-chart confirmation, multi-chart confluence, to where the 60R has a demand zone. The 12R, there's a demand zone that's untapped. That's hasn't been tapped as well. Both charts lined up, multiple means of confirmation there, two areas of demand. If I get the rejection, I'm going to take the trade. Okay, simple as that. That's being aggressive and not waiting for a full-on demand setup to unfold on the lower time frame. Meaning we're waiting for the market to come back to that lower time frame, demand zone there, react, break structure to the upside, and then come back to it like I talk about as in the strategy. That kind of assures you and gives you even more confirmation to look for an opportunity to go long. Okay, so I'm a little bit more aggressive on this entry here, and the reason being is because again, this was kind of more so a immediate pullback, not where it just broke structure and came right back. It's an aggressive area where there was a lot of buying, and then it comes back to it. Okay, we didn't start running to the upside, breaking through and breaking through or creating areas of structure, making new highs, new lows, or higher highs and higher lows. This was kind of what I like to call a immediate pullback here on the higher time frame, and then in doing so, I'm just going to scale down to my lower time frame and look for an opportunity where there's a demand zone. Okay. Again, if you want to wait it out, you can definitely do so. And the strategy that I talk about is for people who are really starting off, beginners, traders, okay, intermediate traders, those that are really wanting to understand a solid strategy to be able to trade supply and demand. It works, but you have to be more patient to wait for it to tap into the higher time frame, then sit back, okay, then wait for it to do its thing. When it taps into the higher time frame, break structure or taps into the higher time frame, react, go down to the lower time frame, wait for it to break structure, and then to pull back to that area demand on the lower time frame. Okay, so my means of trading taking this trade here was more aggressive, but again, it all came back to the fact of boils down. This was an immediate pullback to this key area of demand on the higher time frame. I just scaled down to the lower time frame again to see was there a matching area of supply within that same a matching area of demand within that same zone as it was on the higher time frame. That's all it was. Okay? All right. So let's see what happens next. All right, we are now breaking structure to the upside again. Okay? Now, sorry guys, looking at something on my chart. This area right here, of course, you know that by now that this is another demand zone. If we break above here or get now of course we're breaking and making breaking structure to the upside, making a new high, right? So we're still bullish, all right? If we're looking for, I want to say this, the higher time frame, this area here, that zone there, I talked about it, tapped into it, broke structure to the upside. Take a look at it here. Okay, came back to it on the 60 range demand 60R chart. Okay, so that was a demand zone on the higher time frame. Typically, what we're looking for, again, we're looking for that breaker structure, which is part of the structure strategy, to unfold on the lower time frame. Correct. So we're looking for, because we're already bullish, and we are making higher highs and higher lows to the upside. The higher time frame is again bullish. So we're just looking for a demand setup. All right, on the lower time frame. When the market tapped into that higher time frame demand area, it pushed up here, pulled back, and broke higher here. This was a small breaker structure right here to the upside. Okay, now it didn't immediately come back, and it has not as of yet come back to this demand zone on the 12R. What it did is it pushed up, pulled back, broke structure to the upside, and then this candle right here. Okay, actually, let's see here. I'm gonna show you. This candle broke above here, okay? Then the next candle, it came down, it tapped right here, which is support, correct? It didn't come down and hit that area of demand. So, most of us that are looking at the strategy and waiting for it to pull back to a key area of demand on the 12R wouldn't have taken that trade. Now, some people may have taken that trade if it tapped off support as it did here. Nothing wrong with doing that, but again, be mindful, because if we trade it, or if you trade it on the pullback, with the wick of this candle here, tap the top end of this area of support right there, versus it coming back and tapping this area of supply, then it could have pushed up and then come back, so then you'll be in some drawdown. So that's why I like trading supply and demand, because I would prefer for it to come back and tap that area of supply. If we're trading the strategy correctly, where we're waiting for the tap of the higher time frame demand and then looking for a demand setup on the lower time frame. All right, so it didn't come back to that demand zone. It's kept pushing to the upside. So sometimes we're going to miss opportunities like that. All right, so what I did was, because I saw it immediately coming back to this key area of demand again on the higher time frame. I'm reinforcing this. Come back to it on the higher time frame. I just scaled down and look at my lower time frame chart to see if there was a demand area resting within the demand area of the 60R in which I could take a trade from on the 12R. And this right here was a demand area on the 12R, which matched up in the 60R demand zone. Okay. So yes, we didn't get that set up right here. This right here would have been demand for it to come back to. Can it come back to this area? I mean, it could, but just be careful, because we just broke structure back to the upside again, even on the higher time frame. Okay, see, we broke structure here. So now we got a demand zone resting right here at 875. Okay, so 875 is in this general location right here. So I would look for something possibly, gets here, react in this zone, meaning we're following price action as it's coming back to see once it taps into the now higher time frame demand zone here, if we're going to get some type of demand setup on the lower time frame. So this area here, I mean, it possibly could still be valid, because the market could, let's see here, 863, run deeper into the zone here. But again, I'm looking for at this area of demand now, and I would be looking for something to create or start to form on the 12R once it taps into that 60R demand area. Okay, so this trade I took isn't that typical type of trade that I'm looking for, where I'm waiting for, again, the rejection at the 60R demand once it taps into it for a creation of a demand setup off of the higher time frame. I just looked at the higher time frame and the lower time frame to see if there were an area of demand at both locations there off of 60, and then to see if it was a 12R demand as well. Because of the immediate pullback on the higher time frame, again, I keep stating that, but I'm saying that for a reason, because people are going to be scratching their heads like, what's going on? Why? Because immediate pullback here. Okay, broke up, made a new high, it came back. It didn't keep breaking and making new highs and higher lows to the upside, and then taking it forever to come back to that zone. If it does that, again, when it does something like that, then I'm gonna wait. Okay, I'm not going to take it immediately when it comes back to that area. I want to see it actually react and then give me that full-on demand setup off the lower time frame. So hopefully that makes sense. I hope it does. All right. So again, I'm just looking for. I'm looking at this area now. I'm gonna go ahead and mark it. I'm gonna mark it in blue right here, because I'm just waiting to see what's going to happen here. We're very bullish. So the market's just making higher highs and higher lows. We're getting smaller swings as we get pushes to the upside. So we're just trending right now. So I'm going to stop my trading. I should have already been done so. But I only took one nice entry today. This was a opportunity to go long here. I didn't take that long. Simply for the fact is that I just missed it. Okay, to be honest with you, flat out. But I did take another entry back over here at this area of demand off the lower time frame. This was a demand setup on the higher time frame and lower time frame. Again, typically we're looking for the breaker structure on the lower time frame, the pullback. But in this case here, I mean, it just kept blasting to the upside. Now, again, you could have taken a trade here. If you trade support in some sense or another, pushed up, pulled back, broke higher. This candle here came back to support and blasted off to the upside. It didn't give you the opportunity for it to pull back to demand. But what I was looking for, I talked about it, just a short bit ago, was the reason why I would have gotten to the trade. But it didn't take it. So you just have to be mindful and understand that the market may not always come back to that zone immediately. Okay, no matter what strategy you're trading, you're going to miss opportunities. That's just as simple as it is. We just chop it up and look for the next setup. That's all we can do. And sometimes you may get one trade a day. Sometimes you may get two or three. But the thing about it is not taking so many trades, because when you start really over trading, then that's when you start making mistakes. And at some point, you will take a loss because we don't control the markets. It's going to do what it wants to do. And the sooner that most people understand that, the sooner off that they're going to be place themselves or put themselves in a lot better position to where they can, maybe look for just maybe 2 trades, top off maybe 3 trades a day, and then or they're scalping, because that's what I do that's what I do on the daily, but I look for several points in doing so here on the NASDAQ and even on the ES futures. But that's pretty much all I have for you guys today. I didn't take too many trades. I didn't really take but one today. I may see what unfolds into the afternoon, but we're at that point in the time of the year where we just have to kind of look forward and look into the new year. We're getting ready to round it out this year, 23, getting ready to step into 24, and we start gearing back up. Okay, so I guess a bit of advice which I can give most people is that just try to take just a few trades a day. You don't have to take a lot of trades. Just take a couple. 2, 3, 1 could be done. One and done is really the way, and probably the goal of what most people probably should aim for. As long as it is a decent trade and you can profit nicely from it, there's nothing wrong with doing so. But today I took a nice trade. Okay, 2 contracts, and I could be done for today. I mean, I'm not looking to really, how should I say it, really force the envelope. I only traded 2 contracts, 3, but most times just 4. I could trade a whole lot more than that, but it's just the fact is I'm comfortable. It's not a matter of being greedy and trying to clear $10,000 in a day or $5,000 in a day. Yeah, that's nice, but the thing about it is that I'm looking to take trades at great opportunities, that unfold on the chart at good zones. So hopefully you guys are doing the same. Supply and demand to me is, I said, that's the cornerstone of how I trade. And I'm just very mindful of the areas or zones I'm looking to trade from. But I'm ultimately paying attention to market structure. That is essential to trading. But that's all I have for you guys. I'm going to wrap it up here. I'm going to jump off. I wish everyone, a safe trading day today. If you're interested in joining the Discord, find that link down in the description portion of the video. As well, if you're not a current subscriber, please take the time to go ahead and sub. Not sure what you're waiting on. A lot of valuable and good content that is being given away for free each and every day, and in all the videos on the channel. So spend some time watching the videos if you want to understand and grasp supply and demand. I'm not telling you gotta learn it here. You can go somewhere else just as well and pick up some information. But I have tons of videos discussing supply and demand and how I trade it in my own personal life and my own personal trading. Okay. Also, make sure to turn on all your post notifications so you never miss one of the uploads here on the channel. And last but not least, please drop a like on the video. Stay safe, guys, in trading. I'll see everyone in the next video. Take care.